good tee shot here. That water's there. I need to make sure we get over that water. Don't go in the water. Oh no. Guys, what if we told you we could get you to stop hitting behind your irons, stop fatting your irons, and strike them pure pretty much every time? Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome to Get Good at Golf. I'm actually covered in mud after that, but guys, today we're going to help you stop fatting your irons. Now we're on the first tee here and you'll see that there's actually quite a few divots. As Chris comes in here and shows us there's a lot of craters here, Chris, isn't there?
There certainly is.
This is not what you want to see, but unfortunately we see this up and down the country and around the world on par 3s or par 4s when golfers need to get the golf ball up into the air. I was desperate to get that ball airborne because I didn't want to hit it in the water, which unfortunately is what we did. So how can we stop doing that? The first thing we need to realise is, guys, we are trying to hit down on this ball. We're not trying to help the ball in the air. Yes, you need to take a divot, but you need to take it after the ball, after impact. So how can we do that? You see, if I just have a couple of simple drills to help me do this, so I tee the ball up in the same place, and you actually see that, Chris, can you come in again and just show the guys where this divot actually was? So I've hit it in the toe as well there, and the reasoning for that is because if my weight transfer isn't correct, you'll see that I actually end up throwing the club outside here, and if I throw the club outside, that may lead to other problems with longer clubs, with drivers, with hybrids, with woods, which is going to be a big horrible slice. So if I have a club in the middle of my stance here, this is something you can work on at the driving range or just on your practice area, or I like to do things like this when I'm out playing golf with myself, just because I want to get better, I want to get good at golf, I want to improve.
If I improve golf with yourself?
I play golf with myself quite a lot.
Right,
do you never play golf with yourself?
I don't play with myself, no.
No, play golf with myself. Right. I'm keeping that in because that's Chris's comedy for you. Because if I get good at golf, I'm going to enjoy golf that bit more. So what I'm going to do with this club, now I almost did the takeaway right on that first shot because I loaded up to the right side. That's exactly what we want to do with the golf swing. You think if I was going to throw a ball over that water, I'd load up on the right side, then I'd project forward to that left side. This is exactly what I want to be thinking about when I'm hitting an iron shot here. I want to load up to the right side, then by the time I come through to impact, you'll see my weight is left of that club. I haven't just moved to the left though, I've rotated round to the left. I've moved my hips here, and you'll see we now have forward shaft lean. So if I was to hit you a shot with that forward shaft lean, yes, I'm going to take a divot, but like I mentioned earlier, that divot is going to be after the ball. You'll notice the difference in the sound there for that strike. That was a really, really clean strike, and you'll see that the divot is after the tee peg there, and it's a little bit shallower than what we saw before, because if you have a really steep divot, that means that you're generally hanging back and trying to help the ball up into the air. The last thing we need to do is add dynamic loft to an iron. There's plenty of loft on this iron, just like there's plenty of mud on it from that terrible tee shot earlier. Guys, if we can make sure that we hit better shots with better dynamic loft, that's generally going to help you strike your irons better, stop duffing the ball, and stop hitting it in those pesky water hazards when it's the last thing you want to do.
Hi guys, I'm Chris, and to continue on James's theme, again, I sometimes play golf on my own. I don't play golf with myself, I play golf on my own. But what we're going to talk about, just to clear that up from what James has left in there, again, one thing James has obviously mentioned there is about hitting down into the golf ball. And what I see mainly on par 3s, not the par 4 here at Woolley, is people come in, yeah, I've got an iron, I need to tee it up, and it's often teed up way too high. Once I take my setup, look how high that is. And that is basically what you're trying to do there, is because you often fall back, we're going to put it way up into the air to try and get a contact. We then see it launches too high, or we hit the top of the face and we still end up hitting it into that water because I can't generate a strike. Oh, it's come off a little bit slappy, and it nearly carried but not quite. We've got to think there, guys, we're still trying to hit down, so even when we are on a par 3 and we're using a tee, we want to have that teed right down so it's just above, so we are getting the ball above the grass so there's less interference, but I'm still trying to hit down into that golf ball. So we want to do exactly the same things as James, but we're not wanting to tee it too high, and that's the same what people do with fairway woods. I often see people tee them up way too high, they either then go underneath them or they hang back to try and get it, and then as soon as we get on the fairway, they're like, oh, I was good off the tee, but I'm rubbish from the fairway, I can't get any kind of strike, I'm hitting it way behind. And that's a result of not teeing it up correctly. So if we can start to get you teeing it way down, if James comes in here again, you'll see now that's just above the ground. If anything, you would barely be able to tell that there is a tee there. It is only just above that. And then when I make a shot, well, actually what we can show you there quickly is, because James left it nice and muddy, look where I struck that. And that's what we see time
That
and
is
time
not
again.
the optimum position to strike a shot, is it?
No, that's very slappy. That's going to come off with no kind of speed whatsoever. So even though this is a 6-iron, it's never going to go the 6-iron distance. But now what I can do is I can do what James has said. I've got my alignment sticking here. I can make sure that I'm trying to get my weight onto the left-hand side. The tee's going to still encourage us to hit down. You'll see not the best strike, but much more. Well, you can't really
It made it
tell.
over the water.
It's over the water. I'd like to say you could see the strike, guys, but it's full of mud. But you can see there, because it was better, we're then able to get it over the water. It's not into the water. But all the key things that James said, we need to make sure that your ball position is correct. We need to make sure that you're transferring your weight. But make sure you use the correct tee height, because that's probably going to hinder you when you get onto a fairway. If we tee it up too high, we're then going to misstrike it on the fairway. So guys, we're down at the ball now, and what I want to do is give you a drill. So the other day I had again a lesson in who was struggling with weight shift. So one good drill for you to do is the step drill. So I have seen all variations of this in lessons, as you can imagine.
I saw someone fall over once.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things go on. But what we want to do is encourage you to weight shift. So if you think about cricket, I know this is not helping the Americans out there. Cricket's, we are the world champions in two forms of the game now, but what we're trying to do is encourage with stepping and with weight shifting, and we're getting our weight onto that left hand side. So a drill you can do is, obviously don't do it on the ball straight away, but set up normally. What we're then going to do is we're going to bring your left foot back to your right if you're a right-handed golfer, and then we're going to practice as we take the club away. I'm trying to step back to where I would be in my normal setup, so it would look a little bit like this. So as I take it away, I step, and that's already getting me moving my lower body and shifting it towards the target. Once you feel comfortable with that, because a lot of people start to go, I've seen all sorts of things when we've stepped after, and again I've seen people step and get too big and miss-hit it. So think about where your normal setup would be. That's why we take our normal stance, and then from there we bring the feet together. Like I said, as we take it away, shift that weight, and I'll be very much in balance. We then can put that onto the golf ball. So take your normal address, get comfortable. We're going to bring it, the club's going to set behind. I'm then going to make a motion where I step as I swing back. You'll see there, weight's nicely on the left, turn through. I could lift my right foot up there, and James will zoom in hopefully and show that it's on the green. One thing that it also does for us, you'll see that's a nice shallow divot.
That's the best strike I think I've seen you hit in a very long time.
It encourages a nice shallow divot, because as I transfer my weight, once I do this, the club is actually falling a little bit behind. So it's shallowing the club out. I'm not going over the top and coming very steep. So have a few practice swings doing that, guys. And then once you're comfortable, over the ball, take your setup, feet together, and give it a go. And another strike. That one looks to be going a bit closer to the flag.
Oh,
Hopefully James zooms in. Again, a little bit deeper divot, but still very shallow. I'll replace those divots, guys. That's been Get Good at Golf, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow.